The first time I noticed something was off was during a Christmas dinner, 3 months after I married Tom. His daughter Melissa had arranged the seating, and somehow my Lauren ended up at the kids' table. Despite being 17 at the time, just a mix-up, Tom assured me, but the smirk on Melissa's face told a different story. Lauren never complained. Not when they forgot to include her in the annual family portrait. Not when Melissa's graduation party invitation mysteriously got lost in the mail. Not even when Tom's mother referred to her 3 real grandchildren right in front of Lauren. "It's fine, Mom," Lauren would say, squeezing my hand under the table. I'm used to it. But I wasn't fine with it. I'd lost my first husband to cancer when Lauren was just 7. When I met Tom 4 years later, I thought we were getting a second chance at family. Instead, I'd unknowingly brought my daughter into a household where she was treated like an unwanted accessory. Tom always minimized the situation. "You're being oversensitive," he'd say. "The kids just need time to adjust." But 5 years passed, then 10. 15 years of subtle exclusions and not-so-subtle reminders that Lauren wasn't really family. I can still hear Melissa's voice when she announced her 25th birthday celebration, a weekend affair with a fancy dinner on Friday and a huge party on Saturday. "It's going to be epic," she gushed at Sunday dinner. "Everyone who matters will be there." When the invitation arrived, addressed only to Tom and Caroline, I confronted my husband. "Lauren needs to be included in the family dinner," I insisted. "Caroline, it's Melissa's birthday. She gets to decide who comes," Tom replied with that dismissive tone I'd grown to hate. "Besides, Lauren can still attend the party on Saturday. Most of Melissa's friends will be there. It'll be more her age group anyway." I pressed the issue, and we had our worst fight in years. "You're always choosing them over us," I shouted, tears streaming down my face. "There is no them and us," he fired back. "That's the problem. You always act like you're in competition with my children." When I told Lauren about the dinner exclusion, she just shrugged. "Honestly, Mom, I'm kind of relieved. Those family dinners are tortured anyway." But I noticed something different in her eyes. Not her determination, she was plotting something. What I didn't know then was that Lauren had been dating Ryan, the brother of Melissa's boyfriend James, for almost 2 years. They'd kept it secret because, well, Lauren knew how Melissa would react to sharing any part of her life. As I watched Lauren get ready for Melissa's party that Saturday night, she seemed unusually calm, beautiful in her blue dress, with a mysterious smile playing on her lips. "You look like you're up to something," I said. She kissed my cheek. "Maybe I am, Mom. Maybe tonight's the night. Everything changes." I had no idea just how right she was, or that in less than 4 hours, Lauren would take the stage during Melissa's birthday celebration and drop a bombshell that would forever alter our family dynamic. I decided to attend the party after all, unable to shake the feeling that something significant was about to happen. The country club ballroom was transformed into what Melissa had called her winter wonderland. All white and silver with crystal chandeliers throwing prisms across the walls. Melissa, of course, was the center of attention in a backless white gown that probably cost more than my first car. "Mom, you came." Lauren seemed genuinely surprised when she found me nursing a glass of champagne near the bar. "I thought you were boycotting and miss whatever you're planning." "Not a chance." I studied her face, trying to decipher her calm demeanor. "Are you okay, honey?" Her eyes flickered across the room to where a tall young man in a tailored navy suit was chatting with James, Ryan. I'd only seen photos of him on Lauren's phone, always carefully hidden from the rest of the family. "Better than okay," she whispered. "Just watch." Throughout the evening, I observed Lauren and Ryan exchanging glances, subtle touches, private smiles. They were remarkably good at appearing casual, though I noticed Tom's eldest son Michael watching them with narrowed eyes. Of course, he'd be the first to notice. Michael had always been the most observant of Tom's children, even if he rarely stood up for Lauren. When Melissa clinked her glass for speeches, I felt my stomach knot. The usual parade of compliments began, James gushing about his incredible girlfriend. Her college sorority sisters reminiscing about wild nights in Boston. Her father praising his princess. And now, the DJ announced a special birthday message from James's brother, Ryan. The room quieted as Ryan took the microphone, his confident smile revealing nothing. Many of you know me as James's brother, but tonight I'm here in a different capacity, he began. You see, over the last 2 years, I've been getting to know someone very special who's changed my life completely. Melissa beamed, clearly assuming this was some roundabout compliment about how dating James had brought Ryan into her orbit. The room temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees when Ryan extended his hand and said, "Lauren, would you join me?" The shocked murmurs rippled through the crowd as Lauren gracefully crossed to him. Melissa's face transformed from confusion to horror as Ryan continued. Lauren has taught me what true strength looks like. She faces every day with kindness, even when kindness isn't returned. His eyes swept meaningfully across Tom's family. 2 months ago, I asked her a question, and tonight, with everyone who matters present, we wanted to share our answer. Before anyone could process what was happening, Lauren was holding out her left hand, a sparkling diamond catching the light. "We're engaged," she said simply, her voice carrying across the stunned silence. Before we could continue with this shocking revelation, I need to quickly mention something important. YouTube has been removing subscriptions lately, so please check if you're still subscribed and leave a like to support the channel. Now, back to this incredible moment. The collective gasp was audible. Tom stood frozen, champagne glass suspended midair. Melissa's perfectly contoured face crumpled in disbelief. But it was Tom's mother whose reaction I watched most carefully. Her jaw literally dropped as she realized that the girl she'd never considered real family was about to become doubly connected to them through marriage. "You can't be serious," Melissa finally sputtered, the microphone unfortunately still live. "You and her." Ryan's arm tightened protectively around Lauren's waist. "Absolutely serious. And we couldn't think of a better time to announce it than when the whole family is together, since Lauren so rarely gets included." The silence that followed was deafening. In that moment, looking at my daughter's face, a perfect blend of nervousness and vindication, I realized this wasn't just an announcement. It was a reckoning 15 years in the making. And as Melissa stormed toward them, color high in her cheeks and fury in her eyes, I knew the real drama was just beginning. Melissa lunged forward, her pristine white gown swishing dramatically as she moved. "This is my night," she hissed, just low enough that only those closest could hear. "How dare you?" I stepped forward instinctively, maternal protection kicking in. But Ryan smoothly positioned himself between Melissa and my daughter. The tension in the ballroom was thick enough to cut with a knife, with guests exchanging uncomfortable glances and whispers spreading like wildfire. "Enough, Melissa." It was Tom who broke the silence, his voice carrying authority as he placed a restraining hand on his girlfriend's shoulder. The shock on his face had transformed into something more complex, embarrassment mixed with ... Was that guilt? "You knew about this?" James demanded, appearing suddenly at his father's side, his expression a storm of betrayal as he glared at his brother. "I found out tonight," Tom replied evenly, his eyes never leaving Lauren and Ryan. "Though apparently I'm the last to know about a lot of things in this family." Ryan's mother Elizabeth emerged from the crowd, her Chanel dress and perfect composure a stark contrast to the chaos unfolding. 2 years, she said quietly to her son. "You've been dating her for 2 years and never told us. Would you have listened, Mom?" Ryan's voice was steady but carried an edge I'd never heard before. "When have any of you ever really seen Lauren?" The question hung in the air like an indictment. I felt a surge of pride watching my daughter stand tall beside this man who clearly adored her. "I think," Tom's mother finally spoke, her aristocratic Boston accent cutting through the tension, "that this party is effectively over." Her gaze swept over Lauren with renewed interest, cold calculation visible behind her smile. "Perhaps we should continue this discussion as a family. A private family matter. If Lauren and her mother aren't included, then I'm not interested in any family discussion," Ryan stated firmly, taking Lauren's hand. Before anyone could respond, James stepped forward, his face flushed with anger. "You're my brother," he said to Ryan, voice thick with emotion. "And you've been sneaking around with ... with Dad's stepdaughter, behind everyone's backs. She has a name, James," Ryan replied calmly, "and she's standing right here." For the first time all evening, Lauren spoke up. "I'm sorry it had to happen this way," she said, her voice surprisingly steady. "But I'm not sorry about us, and I'm done being treated like I don't exist in this family." I watched as several guests began discreetly gathering their belongings, sensing that Melissa's perfect birthday celebration had transformed into something far more dramatic than even the most gossip-hungry socialite had bargained for. Before I could see what would happen next, I felt a gentle tap on my shoulder. It was Michael, Tom's eldest son, who had been watching everything unfold with those observant eyes of his. "You raised a brave daughter," he said quietly, surprising me completely. I should have stood up for her years ago. As the murmurs around us grew louder, Tom suddenly cleared his throat. "Everyone, please enjoy the rest of the evening. Our family needs a moment." He gestured toward a side door that led to a private lounge area of the country club. One by one, the players in this family drama began moving in that direction. Tom, his mother, Elizabeth, James, Melissa still fuming, Michael, Ryan, and Lauren. Ryan looked back at me. "You're coming too," he said firmly. "Lauren wants you there." As I followed them toward the room where 15 years of unspoken resentments were about to explode, I caught sight of Melissa's elaborate birthday cake, still waiting to be cut, adorned with 25 sparkling candles. Something told me those wouldn't be the only things burning tonight. Walking through that door felt like stepping onto a battlefield. I had no idea what would happen next, but one thing was certain: after tonight, nothing in our complicated family would ever be the same again. The moment we entered the private lounge, the air felt electric. Melissa stormed to the center of the room, her white gown billowing around her like a storm cloud. "This is absolutely unacceptable," she hissed, trembling with rage. "You deliberately hijacked my birthday to make some kind of statement." Lauren stood beside Ryan, their fingers intertwined. I'd never seen my daughter look so resolute. "We never intended to cause a scene," Ryan said calmly. "But we're not apologizing for our engagement." Tom sank into one of the leather armchairs, looking suddenly older. 15 years, he murmured, almost to himself. 15 years, and I never noticed ... Noticed what, Tom? I found myself asking, unable to contain the words. His eyes met mine, filled with something I hadn't seen in years, genuine remorse. How much we excluded her. How much I let it happen. Before anyone could respond, Tom's mother Eleanor cleared her throat. "Well, what's done is done. The question now is how we handle this unexpected development. Handle it." Lauren's voice was quiet but firm. "There's nothing to handle. We're getting married next June. You can be part of that or not." If looks could kill, Melissa's glare would have incinerated my daughter on the spot. "Did you do this just to spite me? Dating my boyfriend's brother in secret? How pathetic." Ryan stepped forward. "That's enough, Melissa. I've watched for 2 years how this family treats Lauren. Like she's invisible. Like she doesn't matter. Because she doesn't." Melissa snapped, then immediately covered her mouth, realizing she'd said the quiet part out loud. The silence that followed was deafening. Even James looked shocked at his girlfriend's outburst. "Mom." Michael suddenly spoke up. "Remember what you told me when Dad first started dating Caroline? How important it was to welcome them properly." Eleanor shifted uncomfortably. "Michael, that was a different..." "No, it wasn't." Michael's voice gained strength. "You said family is what we make it. But we never made Lauren family, did we?" I felt tears prickling my eyes as Tom stood up, walked directly to Lauren, and gently took her hands. "I've failed you," he said simply. "I'm so sorry." Before we could continue with this profound moment, let me quickly remind you to check if you're still subscribed to our channel, since YouTube has been removing subscriptions lately. Your likes really help our stories reach more people. Now, back to this emotional confrontation. The look of surprise on Lauren's face was heartbreaking, as if she'd never expected an apology. Something fundamental was shifting in that room, something 15 years in the making. But Melissa wasn't finished, so that's it. She pulls this stunt, and suddenly everyone's falling all over themselves to make her feel special. Enough, Melissa, Tom said firmly, turning to face his daughter. This ends now. The exclusion, the snide comments, all of it. As I watched my husband finally stand up for my daughter, I realized we stood at a crossroads. Could a family fractured for so long truly heal? And what secrets still remained unspoken between us all? Ryan's mother Elizabeth moved toward Lauren, studying her with new eyes. Well, she said with unexpected warmth, I believe we have a wedding to discuss. The battle lines were being redrawn before our very eyes, but something told me the real fight for this family's future was only just beginning. 1 year later, I stood at the back of a beautiful garden in Cape Cod, watching my daughter adjust her veil. The sea breeze carried the scent of salt and roses as Lauren turned to me, radiant in her simple white gown. Mom, is it crazy that I'm nervous? She whispered. I squeezed her hand. It's your wedding day. I'd be worried if you weren't. What a difference 12 months can make. After that explosive night at Melissa's birthday, our blended family unraveled and then surprisingly began to rewire itself into something healthier. Tom kept his word. He started therapy, both alone and with me. I've been a coward, he admitted during one session. I let Melissa's jealousy dictate how our family operated because it was easier than confronting it. Eleanor was slower to change, but watching her grandson Michael champion Lauren pushed her to reconsider her allegiances. She now sat in the front row, dabbing her eyes with a handkerchief. Melissa refused to speak to any of us for 3 months. The silence ended when she showed up at our door one rainy Tuesday, mascara streaked down her face. James broke up with me, she said flatly. Said he couldn't be with someone so cruel to their own sister. That conversation was the first of many difficult ones. Progress came in fits and starts. There were setbacks, like when Melissa boycotted Lauren's bridal shower, and breakthroughs, like when she helped address invitations after her therapist suggested it. I wasn't taught how to share attention, she told Lauren, eventually. That's not an excuse, but I'm learning. Today, as Canon and Dee began playing, Melissa appeared in a pale blue bridesmaid dress, not maid of honor that was Lauren's college roommate, but present, participating, trying. Ryan waited at the altar, grinning as Lauren walked down the aisle on Tom's arm. I caught my husband's eye as he passed, and the look we shared held 15 years of mistakes and the promise of something better. Later, during the reception under twinkling lights, Lauren sought me out. Thank you for never giving up on me, she said, hugging me tightly. We almost did, I admitted. But families aren't perfect, they're persistent. As I watch my daughter dance with her new husband, surrounded by people who finally see her, I realize some scars never fully heal. But they can become part of a beautiful mosaic. If you've enjoyed this journey with our family, please subscribe to hear more real stories of healing and redemption. Life rarely gives us perfect endings, but sometimes it offers us the perfect new beginning.